thank you again to Melissa and to Lisa for the opportunity to speak today. It's really great to be able to share our work beyond confines of UCD and other Irish institutions. Today's work is very much interdisciplinary. Geraldine and I have been collaborating for about 10 years now in various digital humanities and cultural analytics projects. And Curatr is the kind of culmination of our most recent work. Just to give you some background on the British Library Digital Corpus before I talk about the Curatr system itself. Our collaborators at British Library Labs kindly provided us with a collection of digitalized out-of-copyright texts a number of years ago. Majority of these are from the 18th and 19th century. The original corpus had nearly 50,000 books, and those books, some of them were multi-volume texts, so we had about 63,000 books. Given the nature of our work, looking at British society, we focused on English language titles from 1700 until the end of the 19th century, and they're about 30, just under 36,000 of those. We can see from the plot on the right-hand side here that shows the number of books per year. These are very much concentrated in the 19th century, and particularly towards the end of the 19th century. So this was our starting point. The OCR quality varies in the corpus very much from book to book. In some cases, the text is very, very clear. Others are more difficult to read. We're working with the plain text versions of the original text, so not the images themselves. And so in that case, the formatting has been lost. The result is that from a kind of a data analysis perspective, we initially thought this might be quite a challenge. You have examples like the one on the slide here, where the structure of the text, things like both the paragraph text, but also the captions for illustrations and so on, are merged in with the body text itself, and it could be a little bit difficult to kind of distinguish between these. But what we found is that by applying quite robust text analytics methods, we've been able to deal with these issues. And so the real focus of this work has been on making the British Library Digital Corpus accessible to other researchers, in a user-friendly interface, but also one that incorporates a lot of functionality that allows you to dig into the corpus and identify niche texts, from this large collection. So obviously a key initial requirement was to make the English language corpus easily searchable, and we were able to use the popular open source Solar search platform to index the data. We've looked at two different representations of the text themselves. Firstly, we indexed the full text of each volume, so the complete plain text for each of those, so that gives us around 46,000 documents to search. The second representation was to divide the volumes into much shorter text segments of a maximum of 2,000 characters each. That's roughly equivalent to one page in a modern paperback book. That gave us over 12 million of these. The reason for dividing the volumes into these segments is, firstly, some of these volumes are extremely long. And when we're interested in identifying specific instances of say, references to outbreaks of disease, or references to the treatment of, say, migrant groups, it can be very useful to focus in on these very small pieces of text, and then of course you can go back and look at them in their full context as well. So the index of both the volumes and the segments can be searched and filtered based on a range of criteria. These include obviously keyword search on the text content, but also other metadata as well. So, for example, we can limit the range of the start year and end year. I should say that year here refers to the year of accession to the British Library, and maybe that's something that we might discuss again later. We can also talk about we can also filter based on the publication location, and we can also filter based on classifications. And I'll talk about those in a moment. The search results then are returned in the typical style of a search engine as a ranked list of results with excerpts of matching text. And if you click on one of those, you can then see the actual volume or segment, the full text of that for further close reading. There are also links there to the actual British Library catalogue and also the shelf marks at the shelf mark at the library itself as well. So that's the kind of the basic search functionality.